Hi, everybody. Jim Ricard's, Jim Ricard's Winery. And we're here for our fourth and final Dinner with Brad and Jim show. And I want to welcome everybody back. And notice I'm sitting on the right now. And that means it's up to me to give you all the rules. As before, everyone is on mute. And if you have a question, we got Jude behind over here at the computer, and JJ's doing the technical work again. And so everything is as before. We're going to record it, but not you, it's going to be us. And you'll be able to see it later on YouTube a little bit further down the line. Tonight we're having something a little different, and in that way, Brad decided that he really didn't want to prepare something in advance and not have it ready to go. And
Jim,
so
I wanted you to enjoy it.
Cool. Brad, are you up there?
I'm out here, Jim. I wanted it to be absolutely delicious when we ate it, and we were watching everybody cooking along. So we just pulled my pork out of the oven. It's ready to go. It needs to rest a little bit. So it's going to go over here. So we're going to make a real quick pan sauce. We're going to get this thing turned up real fast. If you're using one of these guys, make sure you cover the end so you don't burn yourself. That's always very important. We're going to get this thing to sizzle up a little bit. We're going to throw garlic in first, but the most important thing about the garlic is that you don't burn it. So we'll get the garlic. You just need to get that nice toastiness going. So we're not going to burn the garlic.
I just love fried garlic that way.
Yes, and then all
it's so aromatic.
Yes, and all the little bits are coming off of the pan as we speak, but we don't want to get anything burned here. So we're going to go ahead and pour in our chicken stock. I'm going to reserve just a little bit of that back as we're boiling this up, and a little bit of the vinegar. Got to get that in there. That's going to pull all of this together. All right, Jim. So I'm going to be working on this. I'm going to be pulling off all the little bits off the bottom of my pan. And you got anything for him?
Yeah, I do. Okay, so basically, tonight's wine is Merlot, one of my favorite wines. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is next time. You know, we're planning on doing this again in April, and the first week will be a Saturday, followed by the following 3 Sundays. And we're going to make the dinners a little more complete this time with suggested sides to go with. So it's going to be like a Sunday afternoon meal. And having it on Sunday, we're hoping that everybody will be able to participate in a real kind of way and not feel rushed after having to work, or you know, for all of you that are going back to work, you know, and coming home and having to deal with it. So this is what we're planning on doing. We've got some great ideas. We've got the wine selected. Brad's going to provide a Albarino, which is it's a beautiful, beautiful Italian varietal. I'm going to provide our most apt for wine that I made by accident. Bettino's Blend, which is a super Tuscan, just a great Sangiovese base wine with a little bit of Merlot in it. And then Brad's going to provide a Tempranillo, Spanish influence, and then we're gonna have our Petit Syrah in that to finish. And I think those wines would be great. Some ideas we've had is I think that nothing better in this world is to have braised ribs with our Petit Syrah, you know, because you dump a bunch of it in it while you're cooking, and it just
Jim, that sounds fantastic.
Amazing. Dinner.
It is. We're looking pretty good. All right, my friend. So I'm just getting everything sliced up. So my pork has been able to rest for a few minutes.
Okay.
And we're getting everything sliced up there. As you can see, my pan sauce, we don't want to forget it. My pan sauce is reducing so I can get the nice consistency on there. And I think that we're serving 5 tonight. I'll make sure that we get enough for that. And as you were saying, yes, the Tempranillo, and I think we even called that Tempranillo rustic, as we enjoy the Tempranillo. One of my favorite things about it is that, there's some figs and plum in there, not just all really cherry driven, and really love it. And then actually, if you can see inside here, we've got a perfect cook. I think this went over to about 155, so 145 to 155. We are going to be doing just fine. I don't want to let my cherries get out of control. Oh, looks like our sauce is almost there. Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. All right, I've probably got about 2 more minutes here. Oh, and we were talking about making our meals more complete. So tonight we're going to be doing my mashed potatoes or mashed cauliflower, whichever way you want to do it. We're going to be plating that up as well. And I think we are just a minute away. So a little Merlot, that probably is going to go in good there. Oh, yeah.
Wait a second.
I got so mad.
Wait a second,
Jim,
Julia. You're supposed to drink it, not pour it into the food.
I got so mad at myself that I didn't put a little of the wine in the dish. I was like, when I went to read what I had created a month or two ago, I was like, how on earth did I not put more of that in there? I don't know what I was thinking. All right, we're gonna get this pork plated, and then by the time we get this pork plated up, this sauce, oh, it's thickening up beautifully. See if we can make it nice for Jim and I. Oh, this one might be for staff. Sorry, guys. All right, we're working there. Oh, that's looking pretty. Oh,
and I have to, by the way, I didn't also give credit the fact that we're at Brad and Danny's house up here.
Yes, we're at the house today. We're cooking, having fun.
And Danny is the sous chef back there, and Freddie is around someplace.
Freddie is right here.
Oh, there he is. Oh, there. Hoping. Yeah, exactly.
There's the action there. He was waiting very nicely. All right, this is going to get turned off. I feel this is ready to go. That's looking great. All right. Just get a nice little bit of plating there.
In the moment, one of the cheeses that Brad has compared with this is that goat milk Gouda, which is
yeah, tell them about that.
Yeah. Remember
goat milk Gouda, one of my favorites. So most people know goat milk as a light, very sharp cheese, but leave it to the folks out there in Holland, and they let it age for a little bit, and so you get a richer, creamier texture. And actually, Jim, I'm not there, so you can wrinkle your nose or not. How is the pairing?
But terrible.
I hate it when that happens.
The worst I've ever had.
Oh no!
This is wonderful. I said earlier that one of my favorite wines is Merlot, and I grow a little bit of it, but not enough to make a standalone. Now that's changing. I'm planting some more. When you guys come out and see us, you can actually see the areas that we're going to be planting in Merlot, and because I think I can do a pretty good job with it, and from a growing point of view. And so
Jim, what am I going to do with my Merlot then?
Continue to do a good job.
This wasn't the best plating, Jim. I'm on the way in.
So
all right, here we go.
This goat milk Gouda has just a wonderful richness about it. It's just really pretty. And with this wine, it's got a great acidity that cuts through that.
Are we ready to have a little food? Hi guys, I'm back. All right, let's see if we can plate that where you guys can see. There we go. We've got our beautiful
look at that
black cherry sauce. Holy smokes. All right. Oh, I need to turn my microphone on. Sorry guys. I'm just learning. Let me get this. And we are kind of a big deal, when you win all the rib cook-offs in Geyserville, you get these aprons.
No kid.
No, along with big trophies and stuff like that too.
No kid.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
we'll see how good
Oh.
you are in June.
Thank you for pouring that for me. Before I dig in, I do want to try it with this. In the folks out there in Holland, they're the most well known for aged goat cheeses. Most of the world does it when it's really sharp and young. I've just built a palate because it goes so fantastic with the wine. Those nice, rich, earthy flavors, so it's not so sharp. There's no acid.
It's so creamy and light.
Yep.
And the acidity of the wine really does a number on it.
It's one of those cheeses that I'm going to be pairing this with a Tempranillo on the next time. Not because I'm lazy or couldn't find another great cheese, but this is one of my absolute favorite cheeses. It's a must on a cheese board if you've got some friends coming over, because not only it's fine with white wine, but it goes in almost every red wine that I've ever had. Just really absolutely delicious, and
When
it doesn't interfere with the Merlot at all.
Yeah. When my kids were little, I got this. We formed a co-op, a cheese co-op, and we would buy these enormous blocks of cheddar. And my favorite at the time, and still is, was we get these big chunks of Gouda. I mean, wheels, and the whole, 30 pounds of these things. And we divide it up, and we would freeze it. Be quite honestly, we would freeze it, and it did really well.
I grew up with frozen cheese as well.
It's high moisture cheese, and you can do that really well.
It absolutely can.
And I loved it. And what happened over time was that it kind of changed. Different flavors occurred, and smoked and this and that. And I thought it took away from the flavors of it. But this reminds me of those blocks of handmade
of
Gouda
that fresh Gouda. And what's nice about the all right, we're going into Cheese Town. So what's nice about the Gouda is that it only takes a couple of months to achieve this. So this isn't like a Parmesan, 24, 36 months. You really only need to let those goat milks age a little bit. And here's the deal. All right, this is a pro tip. The cheesemonger is going to try to convince you to get one that's goat milk and sheep's milk, because that's very popular. That's not the one you want. The cheese milk, the sheep cheese or the sheep's milk, for me, fights most of my red wines, and so just don't do it. But what I've found with not just my reds, that goes fantastic with everything else. So I know everybody's hungry. I'm hungry. I want to eat this before it gets too cold, even though we've got our roaring fire behind us. So we could just set it over there on the hot plate to keep us warm. No. Oh my gosh. So a nice pork tenderloin, a nice medium-bodied piece of meat, so it's not overly flavorful like a piece of steak. So it's going to really pick up all those wonderful flavors that you put into it.
The sauce, I was thinking of we talking about pan juices. The technical word I know, thank you, Eliza, is fond.
The fond. You cannot let the fond go. People who washes their pans? Nobody in the world should ever wash a pan, because you've got that fond on the bottom of the thing.
That's right.
Where all of those flavors have come together.
You can really taste this stuff in that sauce.
Oh man, it is so fantastic. So when you do that pan searing, what he's talking about is you're building up that fond. So you're getting those nice caramely notes on the bottom of your pan. Throwing it in the oven. Now what's going to happen is, because you're searing it really hot when you're developing the fond, so now what's going to happen when you put it in the oven, some of those juices are still going to leak out. And Freddie's like, I don't know if I can handle this or not, but those juices are going to leak out, and they're going to build up more of the fond. And so when you use that as your base, it really brings out all sorts of flavor. And what I was really worried about, I didn't want to prepare this, in 2 or 3 hours in advance, just kind of warm it up for us. The pork is still incredibly tender. And when you do that pan searing, that does seal in most of the moisture. And then when you put it into the oven, if you just put it in the oven, a lot of that moisture would have come out. This is an incredibly lean piece of meat. The pork tenderloin, I think, is one of the leanest pieces of any type of animal you can get. So if you lose all that moisture, it ends up being tough or uninteresting. And so this is why that procedure from pan searing to then roasting really helps out.
Yeah.
Oh man, and it's the black cherries. You just can't use regular cherry jam. It's the black cherries that give you some
That's
deeper
such a
flavors.
good pairing. That Merlot is, like I said, my favorite wine, red wine that I had, years and years ago. It was from Mill Creek over off the Russian River there.
I'm familiar with that. It's where I first lived when I came out here.
Okay. And those guys made a delightful wine, which I understand they still do. And I actually had some. And pretty recently, when I was saying this exact same thing, it was my favorite wine. I loved it. And then Sideways happened.
It did, but you know what? I'm okay with Sideways. It did.
Sideways, the movie.
Sideways, the movie. Here's the deal. A lot of people made a lot of average to below average Merlot. And so when that movie came out, most Merlots were very uninteresting unless they were produced by small producers like us. And so if you watered it down, thinned it out, you could just sell it because it was the number one selling grape. So people just bought it because. And then when it started having problems selling because people thought it was uninteresting, all those folks got out of making really bad Merlot and started making even worse Pinot and charged you like $70 more a bottle.
Well, that's absolutely true. I talk about the fact that basically grape growers and winemakers are basically herd animals. Wherever the herd's going, they go there.
No, we make things because we love
You're
to.
not a herd animal.
All
believe me.
right, all right.
I'm talking about the big boys.
Yes, that is true.
Okay. And because they can sell it. And that meant that Merlot got planted in a lot of places where it shouldn't. Because of all the Bordeaux varietals, I think Merlot and Petit Verdot are probably the most site sensitive of the bunch of the five sisters. And they really have a tough time. And you plant them in the wrong place and you get something that's just pretty uninteresting. And when Sideways happened, it was a good time because a lot of that mainstream Merlot was coming into the market, and it, like you said, was kind of uninteresting. And so I was actually happy as a grape grower. I was happy to see it, because of that. And yeah, you were exactly right. What did they do? Pulled out the Merlot and planted Pinot Noir.
Yep, they sure did.
And now we're getting a lot of uninteresting Pinot Noir. That doesn't mean there aren't small producers, or even large producers that are making.
There's some large
quality.
producers that are still making some very good quality
but
Pinot Noir.
But the fact is, when you talk about affordable, you're talking about lower end wines, and grapes, and all us farmers got to make money. We got to go from year to year, and right now is when farmers and winemakers are talking about the year, aren't we? We already talked about this.
We were absolutely. What are we going to be doing this year? Brad, how many tons of this are you planning to make? And then it's not only just working with the farmers, it's working with the winery and how much each winery can take in and what days these grapes are coming in. So it never stops for us. We're always having to think about these things and evaluating the quality of our grapes. Was the quality of this varietal good this year? Was it not? Do I need to look for somebody else that's going to maybe produce a great quality that I'm going to prefer?
Exactly. I mean, we're kind of, what we do is mostly all our reds are estate. That doesn't mean we don't buy good quality red grapes, but most of them are estate. I grow it. However, Brad doesn't grow things.
Nope.
But
I've got some of your wild onion out there.
Growing, yeah, and it'll be everywhere.
I can't wait.
But the fact is I come across other growers, other that have fruit for sale. And we were talking earlier about the very same kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I have a neighbor that I helped develop vineyard and so forth many, many years ago. And they might have some fruit available. High-end Malbec.
Yep. And we have a fine Malbec that we make. Delightful. It works great. It goes into a couple of different wines. We have a standalone as well. But I want to, as a flavor guy. So I'm a winemaker and flavor person. And so the Malbec that I've been getting has been fine. And it's been delicious and it sells great. But I know if I had a little better grape, I can make a little bit higher quality wine. And so I've been looking for a new vineyard to source my fruit from. And and you should be relying on me to making sure that I'm getting the best fruit that I can, so that I can then produce the best quality wine that I can. As I always proclaim, I'm a very junior winemaker, and I think that if I get the best grapes possible, I don't have to worry about being a clever winemaker. All I need to do is treat the grapes properly, and then they're going to treat me nicely back, versus getting inferior fruit and then trying to figure out what you're supposed to do with it.
To fix it.
And yeah, my model has always been, I don't know how to fix it, so because I'm not that clever, so I just start with really good fruit.
Right, and then you can only screw it up. But
which makes me stay up late at night because after I've paid the money for the best fruit that I could possibly get, and it's really tasty on day 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then
Absolutely.
It's up to me to make sure that I don't mess up anything.
That's right.
The next 2
and
years.
I'm in that category, in that we get in. It doesn't matter whether it's our fruit or not anybody else's. The fact is that Lane and the crew do an amazing job, and they're empowered to do it right, and that's what we do. We don't screw around. Sorry about that, but
Well, no, there's if this is what it's going to take.
and the cherries in this just phenomenal. It blows this wine away.
It really does. Okay. The wine's absolutely, and I hope that you guys, and I did pick a fancy French black cherry marmalade or whatever, what have you, and because I choose the French because they typically put a lot less sugar in it, and I don't need the sugar interfering with anything. So I've got this beautiful Merlot, and Merlot should have a beautiful nose, a nice character, and a beautiful, elegant finish, and even a mouthfeel that is kind of luxurious versus a Cabernet. So it should be a little more velvety, a little more filling,
A little softer.
a little softer. And this is what makes me crazy about Merlot. These people that are making Merlot and they're extracting it crazy and trying to make it taste like a cab. If I want a cab, I'm going to drink a cab. If I want a Merlot, I want a Merlot. And so for this dish, the Merlot to me is just the perfect pairing.
Right.
I've got a hint of sweetness with the black cherries. I've got a little bit of those herbs of Provence that kind of, I think the herbs of Provence actually bring that nice mid palate of the Merlot up, and I get these wonderful sophisticated flavors. And it's not got so much sugar that it interferes with the finish.
I love this, in particular, the finish of the wine. That is acid.
Little acid.
Little acid. And Merlot's not supposed to be tannic.
No.
It shouldn't. But it should have a good mid palate of fruit, and then finish with that cherry.
I know.
Shame on you.
He's drooling on me. What am I supposed to do? No one can see him, actually. He's totally under the table. He doesn't know what's going on. Yes, and it's that nice acid that honestly, when I'm drinking the Merlot on its own, I don't notice. It's there, it's brightening the fruit, it's fun. But because we've got the olive oil on the pan, because we have those cherries, and then we have that butter that finished this sauce off with, we've got a lot of fat. And so since Merlot doesn't have a lot of tannins, you need that nice acid to sort of clean the palate off with.
I actually agree with you on that. That's really pretty good.
And actually, oh my God, Jim.
Need seconds?
I do. That was really good. Is there any more, Danny? Do we have enough? Or did you guys actually? I'm looking around and seeing everybody's plate clean. I'm fine, Danny. I'm just kidding. And then, Jim, and we didn't have sides for this because we looked at it as a progressive dinner. In our next one, we're going to be looking at it as actually a dinner that you might want to make for yourself. So we're gonna be suggesting sides to go along with it. But so I'm a low carb guy. I save all my carbs for my wine consumption. Are my cauliflower baked mashed potatoes okay?
Those are really good.
Thank you.
I don't think of them as baked mashed potatoes.
Mhm.
And I don't think that way. That's not my.
But
my
a
deal.
nice substitute for
No,
that kind of hits all the buttons.
It's what it's got to do. It's got to any food item. Got a question over there.
What brand of cherry preserves on that?
My assistants are running to get the jar. We're gonna do. No, I agree. And so I wasn't trying to recreate a mashed potato, but I was trying to recreate the flavors that I have. I don't have my glasses on. You might have to read it for me.
Saint Dalfor from France.
All right, Saint Dalfor. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. Yeah, Saint Dalfor black cherry. It's called a fruit spread, and when they go to fruit spreads and stuff like that, it's not jams or jellies, and so it ends up being more of just the sugar from the fruit is giving it the sweetness versus adding, because typically when you're making, jams and jellies, there's a whole lot of extra sugar in there. But I didn't want to recommend a particular black cherry because, everybody's across the country and we might not do it. But that's a very nice brand. Or just when if you've got a choice, look for something that has a little bit less sugar in it because you don't need a lot of sugar because I think the sweetness of the fruit pairs up so nicely with the wine.
Getting back to the cauliflower.
Yes.
That was delightful.
Thank you. Oh, I'll get it in there. Let's see. Here we go. All right. You know what we'll do is we'll post this at the end. Let me see. Any type of. There we go. All right. Awesome. Yeah, the cauliflower, what I love about it is that it gives you this nice roasted flavor, kind of like in that umami side, right? Where you've got those darker
that's the
flavors.
Thing is, I was usually, cauliflower is not my favorite thing. And I actually don't like, items that are faux.
Okay.
Faux something.
Right. True.
Either you gotta.
I'm gonna give you like a tofu bologna.
Yeah.
So,
right.
okay.
Or something like that. I mean, to me, that does just not make sense. So that was just absolutely terrific.
Thank you.
Lawrence, hope you tried that or know of that out there.
Yes. I'll post that recipe. It's not a tough one. I think the most important part about that recipe is boiling them outside. Oh. So your house doesn't smell like cauliflower for the next 2 weeks. So with the cruciferous veggies, you're going to get the cruciferous sulfury aspect. So I love boiling them outside. And then just for tips and tricks, there's a lot of folks out there that have the rice cauliflower. There's way too much moisture in those things. Just buy the head of cauliflower. Boil it up like you would a potato. It's going to go a lot faster because it's not as dense. And also your volume is going to be a lot smaller once you press it all together because it's kind of it's an open lace versus a dense like a potato. So long story short, cook it like a potato, a little bit short time, but you've got to get all the moisture out because as you're boiling it, it's going to pick up all that, soak it up. So you got to use your tea cloth or your anything to kind of squash all that.
Cloth? I don't drink.
Gosh darn it. Danny, what is that sophisticated word you use?
Tea towel.
What is that cloth that I use? Cheesecloth.
Cheesecloth.
Oh my Lord. It's been a long day. Cheesecloth, tea cloth. I was pretty close. I have used my tea towels to
That would
straight
be,
it,
that would be, that would be
but
an
with the
appalling
cheesecloth,
sense of disaster
Anyway,
using tea
get
towels.
that dang juice out of there, and then you can make it just like a normal mashed potato. If you're going to add a little butter, a little sour cream, and of course some salt and pepper and those types of things. As long as you start out with a really dry cauliflower, then moisten it up, and maybe even if you got it too dry, you could throw in some chicken stock or something like that to bring
That
the
would-
liquid, to bring the liquid back.
That would veg it up. Good.
That pretty much fixes the vegetable part, doesn't it?
You know, what, it's interesting thing is for me, you know, I have, you know, it was like the soup we did last week.
Mm.
You know, you have the option of using chicken stock or vegetable stock, right? And I couldn't tell the difference between the two at the end, and I've never been able to do that. And
Well, I think with your soup, you have all those wonderful flavors to where the vegetable stock is like a conduit for those nice earthier vegetable
Mhm.
tones, and you don't need any of those chicken flavors. And I agree with that 100%. I could have used a vegetable stock on this. If we were going to go fully vegetable, this is a perfect dish for all of my vegetarians out there. And it did interfere. Speaking of wine and food pairings, didn't interfere with the wine either.
absolutely not. I mean,
It actually
it was a
complemented
great
the
coffee.
wine
Yeah.
as well. Where I actually think potatoes sometimes in that heavy starch starts interfering with red wine.
There was other things going on here. This was just, to me, it wasn't cauliflower.
Right.
Okay. It just had so much more going for it. And it had a richness about it
Mm.
that complemented the wine.
Thank you. I really believe so as well.
it-
And I've only been making these my cauliflower. I don't know what to call it, since I don't want to call it faux, but my cauliflower alternative to mashed potatoes. I've only been making for about a year and a half now, and so I'm just now really trying to get into it and figure out. But
But-
man, oh man,
Hey, no, potatoes are vegetarian too.
they are. But although that starch and stuff gets me.
But
But I was thinking about you maybe do a lot of celery root and some turnips for some dinner project that's coming up. But you know what I'm super excited about right now?
What?
The celery root. Oh my gosh. I've only cooked with it 1 or 2 times in my life. And then recently, because I was trying to perfect this dish, because Jim made me, it is a huge part of possibly the next dinner series. And it is a root vegetable that I'm super excited about.
down at the table at my place,
Yep.
and we were going over this thing and trying to figure out, throwing ideas out. And I pretty much knew what I wanted to do. And, you know, we're going to do a vegetarian risotto.
Mm-hmm.
That's Eliza's wild mushroom risotto with the Latinos.
You're giving away some big news right now.
I know.
This is exciting. This is
If it-
really
if
nope.
it- if
No,
it
this
isn't
is
like
really
you're giving away too much of my
no.
stuff.
This is really great. This is very exciting.
Anyways, you had a question back there. Was there a question back there?
Yeah, Benji and Shelley Wells want to know if they can get that cauliflower recipe.
Here's
That
the
looks
deal.
like the bomb.
We've got all your
Hi, Shelley.
hello, Shelley. How are you guys doing? Here's the deal. We've got your email. I promise you, I will put the exact recipe together. I usually just wing it. I'll make sure I know exactly what's
Make it
going
a
on.
little less weight.
And this is I will absolutely get that recipe to you. Give me a week or two to put that together, and I will put that recipe out. A lot of other people want to ask me for that too, so I've just got to get down and do it. You know what else we're going to be doing? Are we going to give away the show? Are we going to give away all the exciting things?
Of course we are.
I'm
I believe my
super.
gut.
I am so excited about what's happening next time. I can hardly stand it. So
What we decided to do, we had some really positive feedback from
yes.
you guys. You guys are our guinea pigs in this business. And I really got that, there's some left.
I was like, I think there's more in the cellar.
Okay. Oh, right over there, actually.
Oh, I
The
think
staff
I
bottle.
think the staff bottle's gone.
That's
No,
my fault.
I'm pretty
Oh.
sure the staff bottle's gone.
Uh-oh. Okay. Anyways, so
Oh, there's one right there. Okay,
but that's unopened. That's the problem.
we fixed it.
Anyway, so we were thinking about on our table, we were going over, what we would want to do if you guys liked it.
Yes.
I mean, it's a funny thing in that, when we first proposed this idea, you guys sold it out in what, 2 days or something like that?
It was 2 days. I accidentally hit the button like 6 hours before you guys, like 12 hours before you guys, but the total was 2 days.
Yeah, but so it was amazing, and for me that was really a kind of a vote of confidence.
Yep.
And so okay, we'll put it together, right? And then we kind of rotated through this production. You saw split screen, good looking me and Mr. Cook over here.
I'm out in my
outside.
outdoor kitchen, as you can see with my Magic Chef camp stove out there.
and we had slides to begin with and all this kind of stuff. It winds up pretty cool.
Yep.
And so we're at my table in my winery and trying to figure out what we're going to do, and we need to make the meals a little bigger, more complete, and because that's the feedback we got from you guys. You're having dinner, you just don't want a salad for dinner.
Right.
So a lot of people built a lot of stuff around the meal. And so we said, how cool is that we might put something together? And I kind of knew I wanted to do the risotto. Okay, great. Brad wanted to do the Albarino.
I want to do scallops desperately.
How do you do the wine with scallops?
Oh man.
And okay, this
So good.
started to roll and problem solving thing, right? And so, well, how do we do this so you guys are in it with us? And because that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm trying to keep the rest of the United States in with us. And so we figured, okay, here's what we're going to do next time. We're going to do individual videos ahead of time, right? This was Brad Isaac.
Here we are. Okay, you saw a little snippet. You saw me cooking live, and I was making the pan sauce. I got flustered and I was a little confused. I might have forgotten one ingredient, but if you know the ingredient, that's good. So we're
Can
gonna
you get a discount if I know the ingredient?
I think we should. I think we should throw in something. I totally. You can actually go back and watch. I totally missed an ingredient, and it's actually probably the most important ingredient. It was fine, but
Oh, no, I'm not complaining.
I forgot something.
I'm not
But,
complaining,
but so what we're gonna do, because here's what happened: is the very first one was souffle. A lot of people had never made souffle before, so we had a lot of comments. We made a souffle. It worked out great. We didn't know how to make it, but we made it. So now, what we're gonna do, and especially when Eliza was cooking and stuff like that, we might change the recipe a little bit as we're feeling and as we go. So we're going to be throwing some videos on top of it. So we're going to be doing a little more complex,
a
a
pre-video
pre-video,
cooking.
because we might be making some seared scallops. Might be something you've never done before. And seared scallops aren't easy unless you know 3 specific tips and tricks. So not only are we going to tell you those tips and tricks to make sure your scallops are great, we're going to show you how we produce that. So there might actually be a scallop recipe.
Exactly.
It might go with my Albarino. And then we've got the risotto. And why is that so
risotto?
important? Absolutely. Why is that so
Finish
important?
risotto in a half an hour. I mean,
other people recipes are hours, right?
stirring for hours and hours and hours.
No one wants to stir for hours.
Okay. Question?
We got a random question, totally random, from Dave to everybody. Brad, why do you hand dip your pot?
Oh, the wax.
All right. What's the deal with the wax dip?
Okay. I'm gonna condense this down for everybody. Here's the deal.
So for many hundreds of years, maybe in 1,000, the inferior corks would allow oxygen to get into the bottle, and then the bottle would be not just maybe cork tainted, but oxidized before you got it. And so the corks weren't actually protecting the wine from oxygen. And so what they discovered, if they waxed the top of the bottle, they could protect the wine from oxidizing and it would last longer. So there was the main reason for waxing. Cork technology today is, well, maybe just a few
Light
years
years
ahead of that.
yes.
So even natural corks aren't going to allow a lot of oxygen transfer in general.
They
Um,
breathe. The corks breathe,
yes,
and that's the
but
important
too
deal
much
there.
breathing is a bad thing.
Well, the fact is that
Not
in
enough
aging,
too.
in
Yes,
aging, when we're have one in a barrel,
it's breathing.
it's breathing. The barrels breathe.
Oxygen even
right.
though that piece of wood is 3/4 of an inch thick, oxygen is still penetrating
That's
that
correct,
barrel.
and it's a good thing. It's a good thing for
Yes.
the aging of wine. We call it dissolved oxygen. Now, what do? We jam another piece of tree tissue into the neck of the bottle, right? Well, this cork breathes, okay? And if we want to change the dynamics of aging,
Yes.
how do we do that? Well, you put a capsule over the top, punch some holes in the capsule, and the cork breathes, right? If we want to change that again, we add wax over the top.
And then
It doesn't allow it to breathe, but the same mechanics of
there's going to be
aging.
some aging oxygen in there.
Actually, the tannins want to connect
Yep.
to each other's self anyways.
They're going to bring the
It's-
oxygen
it's
out.
the oxygen allows that to happen very
Yes.
rapidly. Without oxygen, it happens very slowly.
Yes.
That makes your wine age longer.
So what happened with this Merlot is that it was bottled without a capsule and no wax. And so it sat for a year before we released it. And during that year, there was the oxygen transfer that we're talking about. Also, there's going to be some oxygen during bottling, despite how much argon or nitrogen that we put in. There's going to be a little bit of oxygen running
Exchange,
around
yes,
in there.
it is.
And so when I could either foil my wine at that point and then just be happy with that oxygen transfer, or because I age my wines a little bit longer than most people in a barrel. So in a barrel is a lot of oxygen transfer. So when I release my wines, they already have a lot of oxygen transfer. But what's nice is that it's dissolved oxygen. So it's not bad oxygen. It's the good ones that makes those tannins
Okay.
rise.
Okay,
Mhm.
you bumped up, actually, he bumped up to Jim's number 3 rule
Oh, yes.
of tasting. And that number 3 rule is 1 and 2 is fine, but is more.
They're okay. They're just hanging in there.
The number 3 rule is never ask Jim a question unless you're expecting a 20-minute
Oh my
answer.
God, you're right. I didn't know how to condense this
Okay.
answer.
The thing is that he nuked me. Okay. We can
Here's
go
the
on
thing.
for this.
I
for-
will yap about this freaking thing forever. Here's the deal. All right, long story short, the wax is helping protect the wine from, it's going to age longer with
Correct.
a little extra protection on top.
Magnums are
Lar-
classically always done in wax.
yes.
And the answer is you're putting this magnum away for your
It's
grandchild.
a prestige.
And so you want it to last that
So we want to
long.
slow the aging process.
Correct.
Yes.
And that's
You
what wax is all about.
and then you open my wine, you're like, oh my God, Brad, you're amazing. You did a perfect job for me. Or you would say, geez, I wish I had a little more age. And then you
I
can
wish I
decant
hadn't
it.
opened it.
Then you can, or then you can decant it if you need to accelerate it.
Right.
But what I've done is a classic aging process for a medium-bodied red is a year in the barrel, maybe a year and a half. Most of mine will go 2. So I've done some extra aging in the barrel. So I want to make sure that my wine will last for a long time afterwards, and so that's why we put the wax on top. It'll
Yeah.
be fine for 3, 4, 5 years easily, but the wax is giving me one more layer of protection. It will not protect me from cork taint, but and I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop talking.
Just stop.
Okay, sorry, that soapbox, get over there.
Stop.
Stop talking. God dang it. I can't
No,
help but talk
the
about
only
these
person
things.
who could do that is Danny. So,
Yes.
No, I can't.
All right, but here's the deal. So this is a 2000, what the heck year is this? A 2018. So, we saw a year and a half or so of barrel
it's a
aging.
lovely wine. Congratulations.
And thank you so much. And I think right now is drinking beautiful.
It is.
Depending on your own palate, people ask me how long will this wine age? Well, your palate's going to tell me how long the wine is going to age. If I'm looking for a 20, 30-year-old Bordeaux, is this the key right now for me? No. So I'm going to let this go a little bit longer to let all that fruit wane and those tannins wane, and we're going to have some other very subtle nuances and stuff like that. But what I do like is if you taste one of our wines and you like it today, but you feel that it's not quite as expressing what you really want out of it, and you can then talk to me about that. I want something with a little bit more oxidation or a little bit of that. Then we can talk about the aging process, and I'll never give you anything over 5 years as a promise, because that is guessing and speculating. We can tell you what our 2007 did, our 9, our next to next,
Yeah, yeah.
but these are living, breathing things. And so what I always want to do is throw it back on you is, what do you think about the wine now? And then you can tell me what your opinion is, and then we can discuss where I
That's
think
what
the
wine
wine is going to
tasting is
go.
about.
And that's what the whole point of wine, brings us back to why we're here,
Yeah, exactly.
is tasting the wine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Drinking wine. Remember the difference between tasting and drinking? Question.
So we have a question. If we were talking about cheese a little bit earlier, Brad,
Yes.
if someone were to take this cherry sauce
Mhm.
that you just made and put that on top of a wheel of brie, and
Of course, done.
wrapped that up and then baked that and served that, Jude in Cloverdale wants to know.
Oh, there you go.
Would
That's
that be with just
absolutely
a little
fantastic.
bit of baguette?
Here's the deal. All right. You're in my wheelhouse right now. I am a huge fan of baked brie. If I've got a cheese board, and you're coming to my home, if it's announced only a half an hour
And when
before,
is that?
we're not going to this afternoon. But if you're coming over, there's most likely going to be a baked brie on it, because baked brie is one of the most fantastic things that you can do to cheese in wine. And I like making savory, and I also making something with a little bit of sweetness. And so this little bit of sweetness will absolutely work in there. And what's really exciting is that you can go to Mercury Wine's YouTube. It's Mercury Wine. It's Mercury Wine. Go to Mercury Wine baked brie, and you will see a couple of my renditions of this. I don't have this exact cherry sauce in there, but I do have my figs and I do have apricots, because I'm a big fan of figs and apricots. Apricots for my white wines, figs for my reds.
Oh,
And I don't make my own phyllo dough. I buy the frozen stuff.
that's disappointing. That ruins it right there.
As a very busy, only one person business thing, if I'm going to be making 75 layers.
Okay, you're down on my bottom list
no.
now.
All right, you will be buying frozen. If
Okay.
you come to my home.
Another question here.
Long story short, I've got baked brie on YouTube already, but this will absolutely be something that I would put in there. And I've got some sauce back there, and I've got a wheel of brie. I'll probably have this tomorrow. Yes.
So,
What
another quick
time?
question. Where does
4:30.
the sister come from?
Oh my gosh.
Cards has
You have a
five
sisters.
We have
You have the
five
five
sisters.
sisters.
Cabernet,
Well,
and this is
I think
the
I think we might have a
Sister conflict here?
no, I think that our sisters actually have a lot to do with each other. I'll tell you about my sister
Well,
if you tell them about yours.
Okay, okay. My sisters relates to what we call the five sisters of Bordeaux.
Mhm.
Okay, Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. Those are the five sisters of Bordeaux. And there's a stepbrother called Carmenere. However, the five sisters is what we call our Cabernet blend, and it works for me on monthly levels. Eliza is one of 5 sisters. Florence,
I would say
our
that'd be a
friend
number one
Florence,
reason.
is one of 5 sisters.
Mm.
We have other friends, believe it or not, who are one of 5 sisters. I get enormous family points out of this. Okay. So
I love that.
it's based on our 5 sisters family, and the fact is it's real. 5 sisters of Bordeaux, and it takes us 18 months to craft this wine together.
Mhm.
We were just tasting it up this morning. Actually,
Where was I this morning? I should have
yesterday
been
morning,
there.
Yesterday morning you were in my house, weren't you?
I was,
And
but
we were
I didn't
tasting
get
up-
I didn't get the 5 sisters. You
No,
served
we
me some
were-
other things.
we served some other things, but we also were tasting up our wines we're going to be bottling them up. Anyway, so that's my 5 sister story.
I got a sister story as well. So we know that Cabernet Franc is the father of Cabernet Sauvignon.
And
So Cabernet Franc got together with Sauvignon Blanc and created
how they do it?
Cabernet.
Kind of deceived.
I know they created Cabernet, and Cabernet is kind of a little bit more rough and tumble, a little more aggressive in general. And then Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and I don't believe we know actually what Cabernet Franc got together with to create Merlot, but Cabernet Franc is high up in the genealogy, most likely a father figure to Merlot. And since
I'm not sure
Merlot
they did.
has a little more softer, silkier attitude, so if Cabernet Sauvignon is the son, in my opinion, then Merlot would be the daughter,
Okay.
and that's where we went with that.
Okay. That's,
So I went on a genealogy scale.
and so that's what it's a sister of.
It's the sister of the brother, and the brother of and then the father is Cabernet Franc, and then we know that Petit Verdot has Cabernet Franc is in the genealogy, and then Malbec is
also
unfortunately
known as
the bastard,
no.
because I don't know who his daddy is.
Okay, well, here's-
Because Cabernet Franc is not in the genealogy of Malbec.
That's correct.
But you
And-
can tell me
and,
the genealogy.
I'm
of
not sure
Malbec,
I know.
Malbec.
I'm not sure I know that, but I know that Malbec is an Argentine name
Yes.
for a variety that's grown throughout France, the Cahors region of France,
Mm,
mostly, and it is called Cot. That's its original name.
Yes.
That's its real name. It's kind of like saying
And then
Syrah.
Cot, could you spell it for us?
It's Cot, Cote.
Cote. Cot.
And the it's like it's saying that Syrah is different than Shiraz.
Mhm.
No, it's not. Same variety.
Just separated by 400 years and 3 continents.
Well, that's 400 years even, 150 years
Yeah.
actually. But the fact is that it's on the other side of the world and names something different.
Yep.
Got to remember, in the 1800s, movement of food stock around the world was nonstop. I mean, the fact is that explorers were going out to all these regions, not so much to explore the highest mountain or lowest mountain or whatever. They were out there trying to find the newest
Or a spice.
from China.
Something to
Or-
bring back that nobody had ever had.
Exactly.
That they could taste and feel.
Unfortunately, a lot of these varieties were moved around the world and got different names.
Absolutely.
Okay, Syrah is known by half dozen different names. Cot is a couple of names.
Yep.
And I think there's even a Spanish version.
There
of
is a
it.
Spanish version,
Yeah.
and it is escaping me at this moment.
Yeah, but that's the way it is. I mean,
And most of
that's-
them kind of came through the Mediterranean, right? And
Yeah.
so as the Mediterranean was moving things back and forth,
As
and
the
everybody
Romans-
expanded back and forth, everything sort of, came through Rome and then
Yeah,
dispersed its way
the
around.
Romans moved wine everywhere. They loved it.
Yes.
Now, here's the deal. Back to April again.
Yes, or even should we tell them that we've extended the discount if they wanted to repurchase these wines?
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, one of the things, let's.
We'll do that in a minute.
Okay,
Or,
we'll do that in a minute.
all right, perfect.
Okay. And one of the things we need to let everybody know is that we're doing for sure the April deal.
Yes.
And we're gonna do, again, 4-week series. And we're gonna make you buy some wine. And you're gonna get Go Wieners this time.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Go Vinos. We're coming into summer so that you can have some wine
What's a
glasses.
Govino,
A
Brad?
Go Vino is a wine glass that is specifically made to be just as fantastic as a glass, but it won't shatter if you drop it on your deck. And you cut the stem off, and then you can hang on to it. And they're logoed as well, so you can be.
Oh, there we are. And one of those interesting
Look
things
at
is
this.
that
It's
let's
not full. It's
let's-
sad, but
one of the important things about this is that people always say, should I hold my glass like this? And you see
this
wine
is another
aficionados
7-hour
doing
conversation.
this. I know.
Oh my God!
And-
If I see you doing that, Jim, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to the other side of the room, and I'll let you talk to those people that hold their glass like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Elizabeth Price calls it a hot tub glass.
It is a
Yeah,
hot
Elizabeth,
tub.
that's what we call it out here.
100%.
Uh-huh, the hot tub glass.
100%. If you are worried about the heat transfer from your hand into the bowl of your glass, and you've poured yourself too much, here's the thing. Most people actually do pour themselves too much wine, especially when we're talking about a barbecue. You're sitting at your table. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go on it. I'm going to condense
You're
this.
gonna
Here's
go
the
to
deal.
Ice Cube on me now, right?
Here's the deal. No, don't pour a half a glass of wine. This is a 16-ounce bowl. You don't need 15 and a half ounces or 4 to 5 ounces, especially on a hot day. You'll enjoy it while it's still at the right temperature, even if you're smacking it around
Yeah.
with your hand. So pour, if it's a hot day, pour your wine a little less, and you don't need to hold it like this. And spill it on your carpet.
Hand
And
me
all that
that,
kind of
and
stuff.
I'll show you another reason,
Yes.
a really good reason. Okay, and that is you're holding this like this.
Mhm.
Okay, and what does the warmth do to the wine? The warmth increases the
It
aromatics.
can
of
bring
the
out
wine.
massive aromatics.
And that's the real deal. Most of the time, people drink it cold,
Yes.
too cold. This really enhances
It's gonna,
that. Okay,
if you've got just 5 or 6 ounces in here, by the time you've mulled this poor little glass, and if you're holding it like this versus like that, you're not gonna ruin the wine by any means.
right.
If the wine gets a little too hot, pour it out, pour yourself another glass, and it'll be fine.
And we'll get it figured out.
Whatever's less. Yes.
Okay, now, we're into the series now. And so basically you can reorder these wines all together. Okay, mix and match. You get the same deal on it.
Yeah. So let's say you wanted a couple of your Zins and a one of this and a one of that, not a problem at all. Or if you wanted a bunch
Still
of
get
it,
your 20% off, $10
Yes.
shipping, okay?
which $10 shipping, seriously, a
You
great
know,
deal.
Our standard shipping's going up because the prices
we
going
were,
up.
they have been raising our prices for 2 years now, and
Oh,
I know
man.
you've held tight and I've held tight. It's almost unbearable right now with the shipping. So that deal
Is a
is
deal.
not going to last. So if you like these wines, please order up. Plus, they actually can't even get one of them.
Versameter is sold out. It's
Gor-
in your cart.
That's
the
right.
Gewurz
Gewurz
is sold out.
gone. You
We-
guys blew me away.
Yes.
Okay, it's all your fault.
I'm
Okay.
almost there too, Jim. The sister is almost sold out. We are down to 3 or 4 cases of the sister. So if you want these wines, please order them. Yes, the next sister will be absolutely fantastic, and the next Gewürztraminer will be actually fantastic. If you happen to like these wines, please
Now.
order them
Yeah.
now. And then the other wine that I had, we're down to 10 cases on the Sauvignon Blanc, and so if you want it, it's great.
Get it
Our
done.
2020 is fantastic. It'll be a couple months away, and I'm sure your Gewürztraminer is fine. It'll be a few months away. But if you want these exact wines, we're almost sold out because we were choosing wines that we knew were ready to go and would be absolutely fantastic with
Right
these.
on, yeah.
And the next wines, gosh dang it, it's going to be a wonderful series. And the best part about it is that we're going to be doing full dishes, so it's not like you're pulling together a salad and then you have to figure out what the dish is. We're gonna put the whole dish together for you.
Yep.
With some
Okay.
great things.
Dynamics go this way. We're gonna announcement that's going out on the 1st for the people on the wait list. Sign up, be there or be square.
Yeah, when we let you know that it's open for the sign up, please, if you don't want to miss out, sign up then. We've only got so many spaces that we can do. So when we send you that email, please respond quickly, because if we even have it, we might not even have anything left for the general, the rest of the people.
The way it looks, we might not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So seriously,
So
please sign up
the answer
quickly.
there is
We can
getting
only
on.
have so many people in the
Yeah,
slots.
and so we're gonna do a stage thing, people on the waiting list, and then people,
Yes.
you guys, that participated this time.
And then
And then
everybody
last is going to be the general public. I'm sure there's much that we've gotten that's dead.
I have no wine in this house. What is the point of being a winemaker with no wine?
That's an appalling situation.
I am disappointed because I wanted to cheers. We can
Oh,
still
yeah, I know.
cheers
Yeah.
without it.
Uh,
I won't cheers without it. All
What do you
right.
got in the fridge?
Can anybody bring me some sort of wine that's in my home? Preferably something that has a Mercury wine label. If not, then a Jim Ricard wine label. I don't think I need to be helping out
yeah,
anybody else right now. But
that's-
although there's so much great wine in this valley, I do have plenty of other wineries that I do love. Well, let's see, get that. Our other fantastic thing that Jim and I do all the time is our left bank thing. And this is Jim's baby, where he was really like, look, there's so few of us up in the northern Alexander Valley appellation, which is possibly better than the entire Alexander Valley appellation. And so he created this thing that we call Left Bank, where all of us get together. It's a very small, oh my gosh, oh, this is a preview, Jim. Oh, this is my Tempranillo. Apparently we didn't have any more Merlot in the house.
Oh, that one up there?
I've got that one. Oh, we could have done that.
That was the back there, yeah.
Oh, we got some Tempranillo. This is what's coming up. So,
Okay,
man, oh
hold on.
man, why do I love Tempranillo?
Hmm.
Tempranillo, figs and plums.
I like the rustic.
Jim
pepper.
loves the fact that it's a little more rustic. It means it's not, because it's not like Cabernet, and it's not like Merlot. It has its own thing. What I love about it is and dang it, there's hardly not a food. Oh man, you know what's great? My favorite food and wine pairing
Okay.
of all.
No,
is
tell me,
act-
really?
It actually is the goat cheese. It is that goat cheese that is
Okay.
that, because when I was in Spain, they would pair this wine with goat cheese all the time, and figs, plums, but still it feels familiar. So it's not like we're drinking
Mm.
Sauvignon Blanc compared to Cabernet. It has a red wine character to it, but it has that richness of the figs and plums, maybe a hint of leather,
Okay.
a little spice.
Next time, guys.
Mm.
Coming.
This is coming up. All right. Should we
Cheers.
wrap it up? Now we can
We're-
cheers. All
we-
right.
we've been
Everybody's giving us they're flailing their arms for the wrap up. All right, my friends. Thank you so much. We
Cheers,
super
everybody.
appreciate it.
And-
Jim, thank you. This is fantastic.
I love this class. I just love collaborative events and things. And this is the end of our first series. We hope everyone joins us for next time, because this is cool stuff.
And man, we're upgrading our stuff like crazy. Like you said, you saw me cooking today. That's amazing. We're upgrading everything. Thanks,
And
my
you
friend.
saw my good looks. And
Yes.
So you have about 47 people on chat right now.
47. Oh my God. This is
On Zoom.
fantastic.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Okay. So
We're
I have to
gonna
say I really am good looking.
yes.
So
Thank you guys so much. Seriously appreciate it. This has been fantastic. We had no idea how this was going to go. I just knew that Jim and Eliza can cook just like no other. Plus, he makes absolutely fantastic wines. That's why you're not pulling the thing.
that's a good pull.
I love to cook. This is just great. I'm just having a great time. So let's
Okay?
do this again.
And we can't quit. We're like other people that just can't do it.
We are not.
Cheers.
All right.
That's it.
There we go.
Good night,
there
guys.
it is. Cheers, guys.